My name is Duddy, so builds and stuff. Today I've got a really cool interaction to show you between Manticore and no backup plans. We're going to use the overshield from the Manticore catalyst to proc the no backup plans perk. It's a really cool synergy between these two exotics, and I actually made a little build out of it as well, so stay with me, I'll break it all down. No backup plans, it's got a perk on the force multiplier. While using a void subclass, rapid shotgun final blows or defeating a powerful combatant with a shotgun will grant you a void overshield and start health regeneration. While you have a void overshield, shotguns deal additional damage and shotgun final blows refresh the overshield. It also provides a moderate benefit to shotgun airborne effectiveness and reload speed. So this may sound like I'm wasting your time, but I just want to show you this because it's really important if I do it one way to show you it like this. I've got the overshield, and you'll see a kill with a shotgun does not grant me an overshield, although rapid shotgun kills will actually grant me an overshield. But at the moment I don't have an overshield and I'm not getting a refreshed overshield. When we add Bastion into there, casting your super to grant an overshield or your barricade will also grant you an overshield. Now this is the main sort of aspect people run with no backup plans. So you'll see here now I will pop my rally barricade, and that will give me an overshield via the Bastion. And then what will happen is obviously that will proc the no backup plans perk. We all know this, but like I said, it is important that I break this bit down and show you exactly what I'm doing. So it will refresh that overshield as you saw there. But the most important part of this sort of like synergy is the sort of second paragraph down. While you have a void overshield, shotguns deal additional damage and final blows refresh the overshield. Now again, Bastion is what normal sort of builds I've used Bastion in the past, but if you run it with a Manticore, it's got the perk on there, Soaring Fang. Dealing damage while grounded, charges anti-grav repulsors. Dealing damage while airborne, extends the anti-gravitas repulsors. I did a video on this like yesterday. This thing's absolutely awesome now. It's got some changes. It's also got the swooping talons on there. Dealing damage while airborne increases the weapon's damage output. But the catalyst is what makes this tick, because while you are airborne, sustain damage and final blows with this weapon to difficult combatants, grant a void overshield. So as you can imagine, what we're going to do is we're going to replace Bastion with this void overshield, and it really does work very nicely. You'll see I've got the anti-grav repulsor, and this will actually proc all of no backup plans overshield refreshes and things like that, and your damage to your shotgun. So you get in the air, get your void overshield, and then all you got to do then you just switch to your shotgun, and you'll see that shotgun final blow will refresh that overshield. So you can actually use Manticore Catalyst, the overshield, to proc the no backup plans exotic perks. So I just found it absolutely awesome, and I think this is a really cool synergy. Just being able to get extra shotgun damage from getting the void overshield from the Manticore is very cool. So if we actually think about this, like the Bastion perk, the Bastion aspect is the one that, like I said, we all sort of use on these no backup plans, but you can actually switch this out so you don't actually need it. I'm not saying to do that, but you could do it if you wanted to, and add something like controlled demolition, where every time you hit something with a void ability, it's going to cause them to become volatile, which is actually a pretty good aspect anyway. So you could actually switch it out if you wanted to. The other cool thing with this as well, offensive bulwark. While you have an overshield or inside Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster. By the way, the Manticore Catalyst that gives you an overshield actually procs offensive bulwark as well. You'll see it procs there on that bottom left, so I'm getting increased grenade recharge rate as well, and the other things that offensive bulwark offer. So the Manticore Catalyst is actually proccing quite a few things in this video. It's proccing the no backup plans exotic perks, and it's giving you all the increased grenade recharge rate from offensive bulwark as well. So it's absolutely awesome, and I found it a really good sort of synergy. Other things that do work as well, like repulsor brace and things like that grant you an overshield, but the Manticore just feels really nice. So if we just take another look at controlled demolition, where it says hitting something with a void ability is going to make them volatile, kill them, it's going to cause a volatile explosion. Now something else I covered recently on this channel was the changes to trench barrel. Trench barrel can now be activated by dealing damage with ranged melee attacks. So if we add that with the controlled demolition, Our shield thrower will actually proc trench travel, as you'll see in this clip, and we're making them volatile, and we've got everything else going on that you've seen. All the health regen, extra damage from no backup plans, absolutely crazy. So that's just another option for you. Trench barrel shotguns and volatile explosions. There is quite a few trench barrel primary shotguns in the game. Something like Imperial Decree is really nice, but I really like Strand shotguns, and I'll tell you why. And this is why the build comes into play a little bit, because you can actually roll trench barrel until it's retained with overflow, which again is a Strand shotgun. And why I like Strand is because this season we've got unraveling orbs. Picking up an orb of power grants weapons, Strand weapons, unraveling rounds. And on top of that, we've got Horde Shuttle, damaging unravel targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a Threadling. So if we can add all these into the mix with everything else that you've seen going on, pick up an orb, you're going to get unraveling rounds for your Strand primary shotgun, and it's absolutely awesome. You've got everything else, you've got all that void overshield from the Manticore, you've got your controlled demolition, you've got volatile rounds popping left, right and centre, and you've also got unraveling rounds coming out with your booty hole. It's absolutely crazy, and you've also getting all them extra kills to extend your overshield. Really, really awesome setup. I do think unraveling rounds are a bit slept on, to be honest, because I just see these as extra damage basically. These are just extra damage whichever way you look at it, and it's also pretty easy to pick up an orb of power in game. Multiple different ways of doing it with certain mods like repair, firepower, things like that. But you've got unraveling rounds going on, overshields, extra damage on your shotgun, volatiles, explosions. It's just an absolute mixture of greatness. Really, really good. And again, we're going to pop that Manticore in there just to get that overshield and keep going. Basically, it's a really, really easy setup to do. Now, this is just a normal lost sector, but if you're doing something a bit harder, you may want to build into Devour like I have done in this build with Echo of Starvation. Picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power is going to grant you Devour, because we're picking up Orb for unraveling rounds anyway. We may as well stick Devour on there. So we're going to get all the health regen from the backup plans and the Devour and the overshields going all at the same time. And Devour just kicks in just in case you don't have them overshields. Aspects I like to run with this little setup is Offensive Bulwark, which we've touched on. I also like to run Controlled Demolition, again, which we've touched on. Really, really good aspects to run. Like I said, I don't run the Bastion perk on this aspect on this setup, but you can if you wish. Suppressor Grenade or Vortex Grenade, whatever you wish. I really like Suppressor Grenade with shotgun builds because it sort of blinds them. Shield Thrower, so you can proc that ranged trench barrel. Echo of Undermining to make your Void Grenades weaken targets. This is really good for the Fragments as well for Devour. We have also got going on in this setup Echo of Harvest, defeating weakened targets creates an Orb of Power and a Void Breach, so you can proc that Unraveling Rams and Devour. Echo of Starvation procs your Devour from picking up an orb or a Void Breach. And then we've got Echo of Persistence to make all of our Devour and overshields have an increased duration. I hope I explained that well enough, and now what I'm just going to do is just quickly recap everything you've got going on. You've got Devour, Void Shield Refreshments, 3 Void Shields with Manticore, Unraveling rounds, Volatile rounds, and Absolute Carnage going on. Absolutely crazy. This is the bit you can skip. You can actually skip this bit if you don't want to see the rest of my build. Right, so, class item, Reaper. Shortly after using your class ability on next weapons kill will spawn an orb. Time Dilation to make your armor charge have a longer duration. These two work particularly nice together with the Devour setup as well. Legs, I like to run a couple of Strand weapon surges just for that extra damage. 2 Strand weapon surges for an extra 17% damage. Innovation reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Chest piece is entirely up to you. I like to run a concussive dampener, double void resistance, but that all depends on what you're doing at the time, and again these can be changed out to like arc resistance or something like that. On my arms I like to run 2 Font of Vigors to give myself plus 50 strength every time I have an orb of power. That obviously helps with shield throw for your trench barrel and your volatile explosions. Firepower, your grenade final blows create an orb of power. And then on my helmet, I like to run a double special ammo finder because I'm running a shotgun primarily. So double special ammo finder, and then I also like to run a solar heavy. So I like to run this mod, the solar and strand dual siphon. Solar and strand weapon final blows create an orb of power. But that's the build and the video. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome weekend.